So the first topic is one of the prefaces to Holy Revelations of the Analects. Tonight we will share this Holy Revelation from Holy Teacher 济公 Living Buddha, which is the second preface to Holy Revelations of the Analects. Okay, Holy Teacher said, for a person to attain oneness is greatness. What does that mean? Let's look at the Chinese character. This 人 then means a person. A person plus oneness, equal to 大 greatness. So the Chinese character 人 with the addition of a horizontal stroke transforms into the character 大. Because traditionally, we believe that Chinese characters were created by ancient sages, and their character creation philosophy follows some principles aligned with Tao. So, 人, an ordinary person. If an ordinary person can comprehend their unique truth, which means their true nature, oneness, then they will discover their own greatness. And then Holy Teacher continued to explain the importance of one using objects. Holy Teacher said, in objects, being the only one is valuable. For example, why is a famous painting valuable? We can take the example of the painting of the 6th century painting Mona Lisa, now displayed in Louvre Museum. And the painting Mona Lisa is valued at 870 million US dollars. And why is it so precious? Because there is only one authentic piece of this painting in the world, only one. So Holy Teacher said, in objects, being the only one is valuable. And then Holy Teacher continued to use the importance of use our achievements to highlight the importance of one. To achieve something, we must put in effort. When we are putting in the effort, we had better be single-minded so that our effort will be efficient. So Holy Teacher said, when handling matters with single-minded dedication, excellence is achieved. So all these 3 lines is to emphasize the importance of one. Then Holy Teacher continued to expound, as human beings, adhering to the principles of the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues, 五伦八德, establish character. And this will surely clear the thorny path and open the way to a happy and fulfilling life. Because as a human being, we all want to be happy. So a happy and fulfilling life is what everybody wishes to have. That's why we need to understand how can we attain a happy and fulfilling life. Holy Teacher said, adhering to the principles of 五伦八德. So what are 五伦八德? I believe we're all familiar with the principles, but I would like to review and as an introspection, a self-examination. The 5 relationships, ruler and subject, father and son, husband and wife, elder and younger siblings, and friends. Okay, and ruler and subjects, now we live in democratic countries, so there is no king. So the idea of ruler and subject can broadly mean leaders and the people they lead. For example, like boss and employees, supervisor and subordinates. Okay, and these are the 5 relationships in human world. And to better our relationship with other human beings, we need to cultivate virtues. What are the virtues we need to cultivate? There are 8 virtues: filial piety, fraternal respect, loyalty, trustworthiness, propriety, righteousness, integrity, and a sense of shame. A sense of shame means when we do something wrong, then we feel ashamed of. And we feel we are so ashamed to have done such thing. So we will never do it again. So a sense of shame is also very important to prevent repeatedly making the same mistake. Okay. So why the 5 relationships and the 8 virtues can help us create a happy and fulfilling life? Why? Because as a human being, people might think that if we can have a lot of money, so we can better our life, we can live in a big house, we can have very beautiful clothes and very delicious food, we can enjoy life. But the happiness in life should not be built upon material indulgence or the satisfaction of desires, but rather on the ability to cultivate positive human relationships based on the fundamental moral principles of the 5 relationships and 8 virtues. And upholding these essential moral values is the foundation for basic happiness in life. Here is a very simple example. There are a husband and a wife. They are very, very rich couple, but they always argue and fight with each other. Will they be happy? Of course not. Money isn't everything. And the love between humans, the love between our loved ones is the essential factor for us to attain happiness in life. Okay. So we have just shared Holy Teacher's teachings to emphasize the importance of one. But now Holy Teachers say 5 relationships and 8 virtues. So see, 1 and 5 and 8. 5 plus 8 equals 13, right? So what does 1 relate to 13? How can 1 be related to 13? Now we have to understand 1 refers to our true nature, because our true nature is beyond duality. Our true nature is oneness. So 1 refers to our true nature. If we can restore our true nature, then our actions will naturally be aligned with moral principles, because these principles are inherent in our virtues, waiting for us to discover them. So the 5 relationships and 8 virtues, 伦巴德, is inherent in our true nature. So as long as we can restore our true nature, restore our oneness, then we can manifest these inherent virtues spontaneously, naturally. Okay. Now Holy Teacher talking about true nature, oneness, and 5 relationships and 8 virtues. And next, using object to highlight the importance of oneness again. Okay, in the realm of collecting, only experts possess exclusive collections, and each transforming into a rare and precious treasure. So you explain the importance of one using objects, because there is only one authentic piece in the world. That's why it is so precious. And then in terms of humans' achievement, we need to put in effort, and we need to put in single-minded effort. By maintaining single-minded dedication from start to finish, from beginning to end, and single-mindedness in our endeavors, we can cultivate profound expertise and achieve success. I believe we all agree. OK， 专心一致的努力才能成功啊。Okay. And then Holy Teacher asks us questions. Holy Teacher wants to know, since we have received such precious thought, what are we doing every day? Holy Teacher said, let me ask you, my disciples, what principles do you follow each day? Now, it's time to do self-examination. Holy Teacher asks us, is it to adhere to the 4 teachings for self-establishment, or to follow power, to pursue after power, wealth, to pursue after money, and privilege for personal gain, to pursue after personal benefit? Which way are we focus our efforts on? So we need to know what are the 4 teachings. To adhere to the 4 teachings for self-establishment. What are the 4 teachings? The term 4 teachings comes from the Analects. In the Analects, chapter 7, verse 25, Confucius said, not Confucius said, well, it is documented as the master Confucius gave us 4 teachings. 文性中性. Wen, philosophy. Philosophy means Confucius shared many teachings with his students, with his disciples. Wen, okay. And Xing, practice. Then Confucius encouraged them to apply these teachings in their everyday lives. To know a lot of philosophy is good, but what's better is we can apply those philosophy in our day-to-day life. Then we can be truly benefit from the philosophy. If the philosophy only in our brain or only in our heart, then it is not good enough. We need to manifest in our actions, in our behaviors, in our speech. Okay, so that's practice. And loyalty. Confucius encouraged his disciples, of course, including us, including all the future generations, all the cultivators should stay true to our core values and original intentions. 就是不变出发心呢，不变出发心。Stay true to our core value. Why are we cultivating doubt? Because we want to attain higher level spiritually, right? So our initial intention is to receive Tao and cultivate Tao, is to restore our true nature, to find a way back to our heavenly home. That's our core values. So if we stay true to our core value, it will be easier to pass all the examinations, all the trials in the journey of Tao cultivation and propagation. Because the goal of Tao cultivation and propagation is to attain Buddhahood or sagehood, the ultimate enlightenment. So everyone will go through many, many trials. Of course, if we stop and we leave the Tao community and say, I don't want to do it anymore, I don't want to cultivate Tao, I don't want to propagate Tao, then there will be no trials. But if we continue, of course, from time to time, we will receive some tests. So we should stay true to our core values and original intentions will help us easier to pass all the tests. And never compromise our unwavering integrity, no matter what temptations or challenges we face. That is loyalty. And trustworthiness. we should be a reliable, trustworthy, and accountable cultivator. Trustworthiness, 信. Okay. So Holy Teacher asks us, is it to adhere to the four teachings for self-establishment or to follow power, wealth, and privilege for personal gain? It's for our introspection. Okay. And another question, is it to propagate morality, benevolence, and righteousness, or to follow killing, stealing, indulgence, lying, and intoxication to harm and jeopardize lives? Holy Teacher asks us these questions very seriously. Okay. Then Holy Teacher cited some examples of Confucius disciples to inspire us. So on the slide, there are many examples, but time is limited. So I will just choose one example, the first example, to share with you. In the past, all these Confucius disciples, Holy Teacher said, in the past, Minzi inquired about filial piety. First, let's elaborate what does inquire mean here in this context. Inquire here means to delve into profound meanings and examine oneself. To delve into profound meanings of sages' teachings and examine ourselves. So Minzi practiced filial piety. His filial piety, his behaviors, his actions touched many, many people. Who was Minzi? Minzi usually was called Minzi Qian, lived between 536 to 487 BC, with the given name Sun. And Ziqian was his courtesy name, Ziqian, Zi Ziqian, Ming Sun, Zi Ziqian, was a native of the state of Lu during the late spring and autumn era. And the title Zi is a respectful address for Ming Ziqian. Ziqian was his courtesy name, and Zi is a respectful address by later generations. Among Confucius's disciples, he was one of the 10 philosophers. So among Confucius' disciples, there were 72贤, 72 virtuous person, and 10 philosophers, 十哲, and Minzi Qian was one of the 10 philosophers of the Confucian school, and highly regarded for his moral character and cultivation. Like Yan Hui, his virtues are still remembered and appreciated today. The story goes like this. Filial Minzi Qian. Ziqian at a very young age lost his mother. His stepmother, favoring her own biological sons, mistreated Minzi Qian. Because Ziqian lost his biological mother, so his father married another woman to give him a stepmother to take care of Minzi Qian. But the stepmother gave birth to 2 sons, her own biological sons. Then the woman favored his own biological son and mistreated Minzi Qian. Okay. So despite the abuse, Ziqian decided not to tell his father. If Ziqian reported what his stepmother has done to him, then the father will understand. But he did not tell anything because he didn't want to put more strain on the parents' relationships. Okay, so this is very virtuous for a young kid or young child. He understand that he don't want to bring trouble to the stepmother, despite the stepmother did not like him. And one winter, the stepmother pretended to make a cotton padded jacket. A cotton padded jacket is very warm. He pretended to make such a jacket for Ziqian, but filled it with reed flowers. Reed flowers is this. It's not warm at all. So one day, while Ziqian was driving his father in a carriage, he felt cold and hungry and unable to control the direction of the carriage. The carriage slid into a roadside ditch because the flowers of reeds are not warm at all. So Ziqian was very, very cold. And the father, very angry, blamed and whipped Ziqian. He beat Ziqian with a whip. And then because the beating is so severe, so tearing his clothes and revealing the inner lining made of reed flowers. So all of a sudden, the father learned the truth. And he was even more angry because he wanted to divorce his wife because he thought that such a bad woman mistreated my son. Okay. And then Ziqian knelt before his father, pleading for leniency for his stepmother. He said, when mother stayed, I bore the cold alone. Only one child, that's me. I would endure the coldness, the cold weather alone. But if mother leaves, my two younger brothers will share the loneliness with me. So such words touch his father very much. So the father chose not to divorce his wife. And then the stepmother was filled with regrets. The stepmother deeply regretted her past mistakes and became a loving stepmom. So Min Ziqian was a very young child and facing severe bullying, yet harboring no hatred at all. Such a beautiful spirit. He not only touched his father, influenced his stepmother, and protected his two younger brothers, but also left a lasting impact on many people in later generations. His virtues are truly remarkable, and that was Min Ziqian's story. So Holy Teacher said, in the past, Minzi inquired about filial piety, and Zixia about sense of shame. A sense of shame is very important. If a person possesses a sense of shame, which will prevent this person to make the same mistake again, okay? Because he will feel it's so ashamed to make such a mistake. And Ziyu about integrity, Zilu about righteousness, and Zigong about loyalty, Meng Jingzi about trustworthiness, and Yan Hui about propriety. All these are quoted from the Analects. And Youzi inquire about filial piety and fraternal respect. See, previously in the first line, said Holy Teacher said, Minzi inquire about filial piety, and now Youzi inquire about 孝悌, filial piety and fraternal respect. Okay, we have learned this passage before. Now to review, let's look at this again. Youzi said, few individuals who have cultivated filial and fraternal virtues enjoy offending their superiors. Those who do not enjoy offending superiors are never troublemakers, which means a person 有孝悌 will not offend superiors, who do not offend superiors, will never cause troubles. So a 君子 means a person of noble character. A 君子 directs his attention, like all of us. I believe that all of us aim to be a cultivator with noble character. So we should direct our attention to what is profound and fundamental. Okay. Once the fundamentals are firmly established, appropriate actions in accordance with Tao will naturally manifest. So what is the fundamental principle? Filial piety and fraternal respect. Lao-Tzu said, are not filial piety and fraternal respect fundamental to the actualization of Zen? Okay. And Zhenzi, Holy Teacher said, Zhenzi reflected on himself in 3 ways. We are very familiar with this passage too, right? 吾日三省吾身. In doing things for others, have I been disloyal? In my interactions with friends, have I been untrustworthy? Have I not practiced what I have learned? Zhenzi reflects on himself from the opposite side to prevent himself from doing all these negative things, right? Okay. Holy Teacher said, what insights do they offer you? So after reading all this philosophy, all these teachings, what insights do they offer us? Are we going to practice and put them into practice in our day-to-day life? Or we just memorize them in our brain as part of our knowledge? Okay. Holy Teacher continued to say, 子路 rejoiced upon hearing his thoughts. Have you achieved that? Have you achieved that same level as 子路? If not, have you considered attempting it? Do you want to give it a try? Okay, let's see. Rejoicing upon hearing about his own thoughts. Very famous virtue, 闻过则喜. Zilu rejoiced upon hearing about his own thoughts. It's quoted from Book of Measures. 这闻过则喜出自孟子啊 quoted from the Book of Measures. And why it is so special? Because think about it. Most people hear others criticize or point out their mistakes. They usually get angry. However, when Zilu heard someone say that he had done something wrong, he became happy. Why? Because he was a broad-minded person. He was a broad-minded 君子. Because he saw mistakes as opportunities for learning and improvement. So it very famous, 子路闻过则喜. Holy Teacher said, have you achieved that? If not, have you considered attempting it? And then Yan Hui never made the same mistake twice. Also very, very famous, 不贰过. Never make the same mistake twice. Do you hold admiration in your heart? Have you emulated him? So let's delve into the profound essence of 不贰过. Usually when people think of 不贰过, they think in this way. They commit crime, they make a mistake, they do something wrong, and in the future, not to do it again is 不贰过. Usually people think in this way. But sometimes very severe mistake, very severe crime, once is enough. Once in your lifetime, once in one's lifetime is enough to destroy the life. So 不贰过, we had better delve into a deeper level for the profound meaning. We are very lucky because our holy teacher taught us. Our holy teacher said, see, holy teacher's compassionate words. If you can read Chinese, Chinese is easier to understand. Now I read the English. When wrongful thoughts arise in someone's mind before actions occur, they can still be managed, controlled, and corrected. Like this person, then suddenly a wrong thoughts arise in his mind. All the wrong thoughts, greed, anger, and ignorance, out of all those bad temper, bad habits, confused mindset, wrong thoughts. But before the wrong thoughts be put into action, it's just still a thought. The thought can be controlled, right? Can be managed. So managing one's wrongful thoughts can prevent acting upon them, thereby avoiding the repetition of the same mistake. What does that mean? If a person has a wrong thought, like a wrong thought that very angry, right? And because he's very angry, then he start to beat someone or start to shout or to say something unreasonable, to say something to abuse someone. If the wrong thought put into action, put into the person's words, behaviors, actions, then that's second thought, right? Let's repeat the same mistake. So the wrong thought, one mistake, and we control the wrong thought and do not put the wrong thought into actions. That's called to prevent making the same mistake twice. Okay. So this is also quoted from a holy revelation. In one holy revelation, one English holy revelation, Buddha said, don't put the wrong thoughts into actions. And this equally resonates with holy teachers' compassionate words. Control our wrong thoughts to prevent put it into action. If we put it into action, let's make the same mistake twice. Okay. Very profound, very, very meaningful, but very practical. Very practical. And Yan Hui never made the same mistake twice. Holy teacher asks us, do you hold admiration? Do we just admire Yan Hui's virtue? Or we decide to emulate him? Of course, Holy teacher hope that we can 学习颜回 emulate 颜回 Okay. Holy teacher continue to encourage us. My disciples, having read numerous classics and traveled a long path of cultivation, have you genuinely put the principles into practice? Has it led to authentic inner joy, resonating externally as heartfelt emotions? Which means we have read a lot of philosophy, a lot of 经典, and then we have cultivated Tao for like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. We have traveled a long path of cultivation. Have we genuinely put the principles, put the teachings, put the principles in the classics or in the holy revelations into practice? If we can put the principles into practice, then it will lead to authentic inner joy. 我们内在会有法喜. And this inner joy is authentic. 真正的法喜. Authentic inner joy. And this inner joy will manifest externally as heartfelt emotions, 感动. 然后你就会发愿 then you will have your great vows, and then you will practice, you will fulfill your vow, and you will reach your goal. Very beautiful. So you can see Holy Teacher wants us not just to memorize the meaning, the wordings, but also to practice what we have learned in order to have inner joy, in order to have heartfelt emotions, so that we can put the principles in our actions. And Holy Teacher continued to say, those who understand the classics must practice what they learn. Okay. Only then, only practice what they learn can they be considered truly enlightened. Okay. So truly enlightened, not just we know a lot of classics, we have accumulated knowledge, and we can preach, we can give lectures, but most importantly, we can put the principles into our actions, and we can find the classics, the principles in the classics in our behaviors. And that's truly enlightened. On the path of cultivation, without cleansing and purifying your mind with the classics, how can you resolve doubts, understand the truth, and manifest virtues? And this is the benefit of reading classics. 所以读经典的好处为什么我们要读《论语》呢？ Because by reading the Analects, the principles, the teachings can cleanse and purify our mind. Okay. Therefore, as your Holy Teacher, I have penned this preface. Holy Teacher said, why I wrote this preface is for you to understand the meaning of learning classics and put them into practice. I have penned this preface in the earnest hope that my disciples may. That's our Holy Teacher's anticipation for us. Holy Teacher hope that all of us can grasp the essence of the teachings. Okay, so we must understand what are the meaning of the teaching, and then we can delve into the essence and grasp the essence of the teachings, and then endeavoring to attain profound understanding. Instead of just understanding the literal meaning, we can attain profound understanding of the teaching and attain enlightenment. Instead of attaining knowledge only, we can attain enlightenment. Our heart can be enlightened. And then most importantly, we can attain proficiency in spiritual practice. 行通啊, spiritual practice, proficiency in spiritual practice 是可以行出来, okay? Through this, you can not only here, 这里不是 cannot 这里是 you can not only establish yourselves to uplift others, 己利利人, establish yourselves to uplift others, but also attain greatness to empower others, 己达达人, attain greatness to empower others to do the same. 这样才能够真正度人啊。So, Holy Teacher continued to emphasize the importance of the Analects. The book, the Analects, is a treasure vessel of salvation, which means the Analects can save the world. It can reorganize the ethical frameworks, latitude and longitude. What are the ethical frameworks of latitude and longitude? Let's look at this picture. So this picture is some workers constructing a building. You see, there are several factors as an indispensable factor of a building is the pillar, okay? The pillar and the beam. And the pillar can be compared to latitude, 经, and the beam can be compared to longitude, 纬, okay? So probably we are not familiar with latitude and longitude, but we are familiar with this. This is beams and pillar, okay? So if human society is a building, then ethical principles are the beams and pillars of that building. Beams and pillars support the entire structure of the building. Okay, so if these beams and pillars break, the entire building will collapse. And modern society is so chaotic because people neglect foundational moral principles like filial piety, like fraternal respect. The Analects can reinforce these principles. The Analects tell us how important moral principles are. That's why Holy Teachers say the Analects can reorganize the ethical frameworks, latitude and longitude. And it serves as a model of truth, goodness, and beauty inherent to our true nature. Truth, goodness, and beauty, 真善美. Okay. The model of truth, goodness, and beauty inherent to our true nature. We know our true nature is perfect. So inside of our true nature, inherently, we have truth, goodness, and beauty. So here, truth, goodness, and beauty are innate to our true nature. Yet, sentient beings may not always grasp how these qualities can beautifully manifest in our daily lives, right? Because sentient beings are so lost. They don't even know how truth, goodness, and beauty can be manifested in our daily life. But the Analects serve as a guide because in the Analects, there are many examples and role models and teachings to illuminate the goodness, the truth, goodness, and beauty. Okay, so the Analects serve as a guide, illuminating the virtuous behaviors that reflect the essence of truth, goodness, and beauty in our everyday existence. That's why Holy Teachers said the Analects serve as the model of truth, goodness, and beauty inherent to our true nature. And it is an unwavering figure in the turbulent world. 不倒翁, unwavering figure means the Analects is very stable. And the Analects has enduring influence. The Analects has lasting impact. Okay, because truth, 真理, truth stands firm. Because what in the Analects are all truth. Truth stands firm. And Holy Teacher also said, the Analects is the spokesperson for propagating the great Tao. What does it mean to be a spokesperson for propagating the great Tao? I remember that when our Lao Qianren was with us, Lao Qianren used to say, Lao Qianren usually encourage all the 后学们 to study the 4 books, 四书, because Lao Qianren said, if we want to preach Tao to people in foreign countries, if we preach them, if we elaborate on the 四书, on the Analects, then all the people can accept it. Why? Here. If we want to propagate Tao, although the teachings of various religions can be used to explain Tao, since the sages of different faiths initially transmitted the same Tao. See? For example, like Jesus Christ transmitted the same Tao as we have received today, right? And Lao Tzu elaborated the same Tao. Confucius elaborated, transmitted the same Tao. So all the great sages in different faiths, they transmitted the same Tao. But if we preach the scriptures of Buddhism to Christian believers, that we know some people in the church, then we go to them and then we preach the scriptures from the Buddhism to people in church. They won't believe it, right? And if we preach the verses in the Bible to Buddhist practitioners, to the people in the Buddhist temple, and we preach, elaborate the verses in the Bible to them, they won't accept it, right? But if we speak of the Analects to everyone, it will be universally accepted because we are all humans. The principles of filial piety, the love among siblings, and the importance of trustworthiness between friends can be embraced by all, right? And this is the holy revelation of 万世经中. If you can read Chinese, you can see the 本训, the original holy revelation. Many words are quoted from the 4 books, quoted from Confucianism. 很多都是出自儒家的经典啊。So 万世经中 means to propagate Tao. 忠义鼎 means heavenly decree, right? 万世经中 means because we need to wake people up. So use 万世经中 to symbolize Tao propagation. And you can see in the Holy Revelation, the 本训 you can see many quoted from Confucianism. So that's why Holy Teacher said the Analects is the spokesperson for Tao propagation. And what's more, to rectify the deteriorating social climate and save the world, it is imperative to employ the Analects as what? As a bulwark against the influence of heresies. Bulwark as 防波堤 防波堤 and the influence of heresy. Heresy means 邪说异端. Okay, if 邪说异端像潮水一样涌过来了，那防波堤可以挡住啊。The Analects is the bulwark against the influence of heresies, and we can employ the Analects as to guide and correct the moral decay of human hearts. Okay, because we uphold filial piety and fraternal respect, and can correct the decay of human hearts. And also, we can employ the Analects to prevent the emergence of distorted trends contrary to human ethics. What is distorted trend contrary to human ethics? Distorted trends contrary to human ethics typically refer to the violation of filial piety, such as not showing proper love and care to one's parents, or even do something to harm them. Occasionally, we hear about severe cases, but all those cases are very tragic. I don't want to talk about it. We can find such tragic cases in the news. Okay, so if we propagate the teachings in the Analects, we can prevent the emergence of distorted trends contrary to human ethics. For example, like a person very unfilial, a very unfilial son, and after learning the principles in the Analects, probably suddenly his conscience will be awakened, and he will be transformed. You never know, because everyone, superficially, people may have very bad temper, bad habits, but internally, intrinsically, everyone has conscience. Everyone's conscience needs to be awakened. And so that's why we need to preach propagate Tao and to elaborate the Analects. And employ the Analects can safeguard the proper order of human society to prevent disorderly actions. In doing so, doing what? Doing in learning and following the guidance of the Analects. In doing so, may all aspire to become saints and sages. Holy Teacher hope all of us can become saints and sages. This Holy Teacher's hope, Holy Teacher deep, profound anticipation. Holy Teacher said, if you cannot become saints and sages immediately, you are still on the right path. You are still on the path towards such noble enlightenment. Because the teachings left by saints and sages are like radiant pearls. The pearls can illuminate the darkness of the night. The darkness of the night refers to the confusion of human mind, because humans' minds are so confused, like darkest night, and need the principles like radiant pearls in the Analects to illuminate the darkness of human's mind. They serve as a wellspring of wisdom, a rare treasure, accessible relics, and a shortcut within reach. The Chinese are very, very beautiful. If you can read Chinese, they're so beautiful. But translated into English are beautiful too. See? The teachings serve as the wellspring of wisdom, the wisdom like spring, always coming out, all the wisdom keep on enlighten people. And a rare treasure, but the rare treasure is accessible. See, accessible. What are relics? Relics, 舍利子, primarily refers to relics or bodily remains in a Buddhist context, but metaphorically it can be used to signify something precious, something revered, or a remnant of great significance. In the broader sense, it might symbolize a valuable legacy, like the teachings in the Analects are a valuable legacy from Confucius and Confucius's great disciples. So the relics symbolize a valuable legacy, teachings or remnants left behind by someone respected or revered. And such relics are accessible. 论语触手可及啊. If you want to read it, you can always open the Analects and read it. Okay, so it's accessible. And a shortcut within reach. It's always within reach, a shortcut to enlightenment. The teachings left by saints and sages are valuable legacies, yet accessible. Disciples, have you drawn from this wellspring, explored this treasure trove, touched these relics? What does that mean? Holy Teacher wants us to comprehend the essence of the teachings and then comprehend the essence of the written scriptures. And the next step is to understand the indescribable truths. What is the indescribable truth? Which means our true nature. These indescribable truths cannot be described by any words. 这是无字真经. So from reading the 有字真经 and then 体悟到无字真经, only then can you draw from this wellspring, because the wellspring, the treasure trove, the relics, the true wellspring, the true treasure trove, the true relics refers to our true nature. our true nature. Holy Teacher said, if we want to draw from the wellspring, want to explore the treasure trove, want to touch these relics, we should truly walking this shortcut, practicing what we have learned, to renew ourselves day by day, constantly and continually. So by understanding the essence of the teachings and put it into practice to renew ourselves day by day, constantly and continually. Holy Teacher uses various descriptions to convey the beauty of studying classics and tells us that if we can apply the philosophical principles from the classics in our daily lives to improve ourselves, we can truly appreciate the beauty of the classics and be genuinely benefit. As your Holy Teacher, I aspire for my disciples to the Holy Teacher's expectations for us. Hope us that can become the bridge between heaven and humanity and grasp onto the golden thread, which means never leave the Tao community, never forget our original aspiration, 永远不离开一条金线，握住一条金线，永远不离开道场，勿忘出发心啊。And cultivate a solid and deep foundation, possess a broad and steady mindset, and demonstrate genuine and substantial talents. Demonstrate genuine and substantial talents so that we can propagate Tao efficiently to better the world. And on the journey of Tao propagation, cultivation, and propagation, we should endure humiliation without resentment, which means no matter what happens, never harbor hatred toward anyone. We, Holy Teacher, hope us can bear heavy burdens with resolve and face storms with unwavering confidence. And in this grand era, undaunted by earthquakes, of course, this does not refer to true earthquake, but refer to tumultuous changes of the environment. Okay, undaunted by earthquakes, mountains shaking, and rivers roaring, still stand tall between heaven and earth. At the end of the preface, this serves as a preface written by Jigong of Nanping at Chonghui Temple in Hsinchu during the 7th month of the lunar calendar in the year 2010. Here, Nanping means Nanping Mountain. Nanping Mountain is a mountain in China, which was the place of practice for Jigong Living Buddha in ancient times. 是老师古时候修行的地方啊。Therefore, another holy title for our holy teacher is Nanping Jigong. Okay, we actually have 5 minutes left. Filial piety and fraternal respect in the Analects part 2. Okay. Because we have been discussing selective readings from the Analects. Now we are on category number 3, filial piety and fraternal respect. And last year, I remember that we have part 1. Now we go to part 2. So the first verse, this verse, I hope our sister, who is the coordinator today, please read this passage. Okay.
Zheng Tu said, if one in a leadership position can pay full respect and mourn appropriately when his parents pass away, and sincerely honor and commemorate them even long after their passing, the virtue of the people will return to its natural gentleness and kindness. Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity to learn, Lecturer Lin.
Thank you. Very good. So this verse means if one better in the leadership position, because in the past, a leader want to be a good ruler and want to help the people he led to become better. Nowadays, we have many ways to like propagate that. We have many lectures, many activities. But in the past, they're not convenient for such activities to be held. So a best way is to lead a good example. So Zhenzi said, if a ruler in a leadership position can pay full respect and mourn appropriately when his parents pass away, and sincerely honor and commemorate them even long after their passing, the virtue of the people will return to its natural gentleness and kindness. Why? Because parents and ancestors are the root of one's existence. When they pass away, we mustn't take this matter lightly or neglect it. Okay? So the moment they pass away, we don't take this lightly or neglect it. And even after a long time, nowadays people may tend to forget ancestors, parents passed away for a long time and tend to forget. But a a filial son, a filial daughter, a filial children they will be unwilling to forget them. And this filial mindset of children is truly devoted and sincere. And if people cherish this attitude and mutually influence one another, people can make it a prevailing culture. And such a prevailing culture can make this community or this country, the society, gentle and kind. Now, time is up, and I will share a true story next time. I will share a true story. How a Dao cultivator help his deceased, help his ill mother, his very sick mother to receive Dao. And after his mom passed away, his mom presented a very auspicious look with very soft body. So next time I will share this true story. But today I think I was just stop here. Now time is just 17 minutes. So this is the end of my sharing. If I have made any mistakes, I beg God and Buddha to forgive me. And I hope Master, all the lecturers, all my Dao brothers and sisters give me feedback, give me comments. Thank you. Thank you all very much.